Jim Edwards here, joined by UFC featherweight Mr. Robert Whiteford. Rob, again, thanks so much for your time today. Just want to ask how you're doing after your fight in Zagreb. I unfortunately didn't get the chance to speak to you. Just want to hear a little about your performance on the night, how pleased you were with it, and how frustrated, I guess, you were with the result.
Yeah, I mean, going into the fight, it was a Fight Pass featured bout. I was looking forward to an exciting fight. Come fight night, Lucas just didn't want to engage. It seemed like he was marching forward and backing off. That's all he seemed to do. He didn't initiate any engagement of the fight. Any action that happened, I initiated it with jumping in and stepping in and throwing punches or kicks, taking him down, holding him against the cage. It was a tough one. I think all he did is march forward the full fight. That was it. I mean, round one he hit me with one punch and wobbled me. I think that's all he done in round one. Round two, again I controlled the pace of the fight. Again he marched forward and did nothing. I just felt like I won every round, and my corner team as well. Coming into round three, I was actually asking them to let me go out and have some fun. I'm 2 rounds up. They told me I was 2 rounds up going into round three. After round one, they told me I clearly won round one, and I said let me have some fun in the third round, and they says no, you've won this fight. Don't do anything silly. Just go out and continue to do what you're doing, and we'll win comfortably a decision. So I listened to my corner team, I listened to the game plan, I stuck to it, and I came out the end of a fucking split decision loss, and to this day I do not know how I lost that fight. I was never in any problems in the whole fight. It's crazy. I didn't even get out of second gear, to be honest.
Yeah, and I guess what was kind of the response for you from obviously your team? I bet obviously they were definitely surprised, but what about in the back? What about the other guys who were obviously watching on the monitors, the UFC officials themselves? Were they surprised about the decision?
Listen, every single UFC official, from the officials to even the security team that watched the fight and walked you to and from the octagon as well, thought I'd won the fight. Every single one of them were surprised. But going by the first bout on the card, the Croatian kid won the fight, and I do not know how he won that either. He clearly lost the fight, and they scored it for him. And then the judge, the Croatian judge or the Swedish judge, I think, scored it 30-27 for Lucas Martins in my fight. I honestly do not see how the fuck he got that. But I'm not the first fighter for it to happen. It would be in the end of a dodgy decision, and I'll definitely not be the last. And as in for letting it go to the judges, I used to hear Buck Watson yelling backstage every time, do not let that judge ruin your night, do not leave it in the hands of them. I will never go to a decision again. I would rather go in there and get knocked out and go out with my shield than do that. I was trying to fight the smart fight because he's a very dangerous opponent, Lucas. It's bewildered me what's happened, and it's not just that. That's 2 losses straight in the UFC, and people have been cut for a lot less in the UFC because of that shit, and it just pisses me off. Not the fact that it maybe losing your job as well, but the fact that the fight played out, it was so shit. I didn't get out of second gear. Lucas wouldn't engage in a fight. He was being far too safe, and that's not what the fans came to see, and it's not what I came to see. I'm just totally pissed off about the whole experience.
Yeah, I bet, and I guess, I was in the arena, and the crowd weren't particularly receptive to the fight. There were boos, there were whistles through that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Was that on your mind during the fight when you're in the cage? Could you even hear that?
I could hear it, of course I could hear it. I think it was in the round 2 they started it. And I could hear what they were booing at, and I was still throwing strikes. It wasn't like I wasn't fucking engaging in a fight. He was standing in front of me doing fuck all. He'd done nothing for the full fight. So as they were booing, I was still doing my thing. I was still on the move. I was still throwing my strikes. It was just him that wasn't doing anything. I don't get it. So there's nothing more I could have done. What you want me to do then? Stand in front of him and get in a fist fight, and it's a toss of a coin, and maybe that's what he was wanting to do. do not know what else I could have done different apart from him engaging in the fight. But then that's in his plate. It's nothing I could have done different.
And what about Martins after the fight? And I'm guessing he probably doesn't speak a lot of English, but did he say anything to you?
He doesn't speak a lot of English, but what he did speak, he thought he'd lost the fight.
Wow.
Andy's corner team thought he'd lost the fight, and I think he was just as surprised at the decision as I was.
Yeah, I bet he was, and I guess I don't want to ask a stupid question, but I mean, what does it feel like? What are the emotions that a fighter goes through after you've gone away to Zagreb? You've trained so hard for so many weeks. What kind of stages of emotions do you go through after you realise you haven't got the result you want? Because a lot of the time, people like myself, we just talk to the people that win. But what about you now?
I was in tears after the fight. It's not a case of me being comfortable and living at home and turning up for fight night in Zagreb and putting that one night in. This is 10 weeks of work for me. This is away from home, away from my fiance, everything. I leave everything. It's not a case of just fight night for me. I put a lot more into this than people realise. I was in tears backstage. It's all that hard work for fuck all, and not to put the fact that I won the fight. It's easy enough a judge maybe scoring it for someone else and he goes home to his life and thinking everything's fine, but the consequences of a judge scoring a fight wrong is far more than they ever realise. It's absolutely shocking that they got off with it scot-free. It just pisses me off to the highest order. So I was in tears after the fight. I was totally heartbroken, and the only thing that keeps me slightly happy today is the fact that I know I won the fight. I can take a loss. I can take a loss. When I get beat fair and square, I can take a loss, and I'm fine with that. This fight is different. I won the fight, but yet I've still fucking lost it. So rather than being upset by a loss, I'm pissed off more than anything. I'm angry about it. It's not like I'm down in the dumps. I know I won the fight. Everybody knows I won the fucking fight. But yet I'm on the receiving end of a loss, so I feel like I've got a chip on my shoulder more than anything. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
I'm just pissed off.
Right. So where do we go from here then? You're obviously very annoyed about the fight. You thought you won it, but now what's the next step?
The next step is I'm ready to fight again. Lucas Martins is the one in a wheelchair and one that's having to go to fucking hospital after the fight. I've contacted the UFC and let them know my feelings about it and told them I'm ready to go. Again, I've got a scan next week regarding my shoulder and my leg, which I think will be fine, fingers crossed, and I'm ready to fight again. I didn't even get out of second gear in that fight. It's fucking ridiculous. I've never experienced something like that in my life. It's absolutely shocking.
So
the fact that they still come off a loss with it is fucking even worse.
I bet, and I guess obviously this might not be in the plan, because I think you said to me previously you were hoping to take a little bit of time off after this fight and then get back in there. So now the plan's changed. What kind of fight card are you looking at and thinking, right, that's one I want to target. That's what I'm going to tell the UFC that I want.
Well, I haven't looked at any fight card to be honest, but I'm still in shape. I'm going to stay in shape. I'm going to keep my weight down. I've had a few days in the food. And I'll look at to jump in there short notice, like 3 weeks, and when I fight, I'll be ready to go again. If not, I will wait till the end of the year. It's the next 4 or 5 weeks I could take a fight. If not, it's going to need to wait till the end of the year. But right now, I don't think I'm in a position to call when I'm wanting to fight and when I'm not wanting to fight.
Yeah, of course.
Two losses in a row. Really, you've not got any right to fucking pick and choose when you're going to fight. You need to be ready to go when they call, and that's if they call, But I'm just pissed off with the whole fucking thing. But the other thing, I'm comfortable with it. I went in there, I won the fight. There's nothing else I could do apart from win it. I did win the fight, and I'm in a loss, and it's out of my hands. So I'm comfortable with the fact there's nothing else I could have done about it.
And I guess I asked about some of the officials in the back, but did someone like Sean Shelby or Joe Silver text you or anything about what they made of the fight?
I mean, my manager spoke to Shelby after the fight, and he just basically said, listen, there's not a lot they can do about the way the judges scored the fight. But again, it's my fault for letting it go to the judges. It's nobody's fault but my own. I should never have let it go to the judges. But again, he wasn't engaging in a fight. He was on the he was counter striking that solid done for the full fucking fight. I'm just at a loss with it, honestly. It's a strange one.
Do you think you're going to be able to take away some really kind of valuable lessons, I guess, from what's happened over the weekend? Do you think you're going to be able to look back on this one day and think, actually, that was a big turning point for me?
No, zero turning point. I fucking won the fight. I listened to my corner team. I think my corner team will take more away from the fight than I will regarding letting the fight be so close. I'm in there, and I felt I won every single round comfortably. Yet it was closer than I thought, and it was closer than my corner team thought. So I think they'll take away from the fight, not maybe let it go so close next time, and let me go out there and do my thing. They're going to fight into the third round next time and be up 2-0 and think, let's play it safe again, or go dig out and try and knock the guy out like I was wanting to do. It's a hard one to call. Like there is no wrong and right in the fight game. It's only as it unplays in front of you, you need to make that call. So every fight's different, every situation is different. The only thing that I don't like about it is the implications of losing a fight in the UFC are huge, So if you took away them and gave me a 5-fight contract and say we'll talk about your contract after 5 fights, I would go out there and try and take the guy's head off every single second of the fight.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as that. So there's not a lot to take away from that fight, except leave a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest.
And to be honest, I think to be quite honest, you come out and said the right thing. I think if you are ready to go again, which you seem to very much be, so I think the best thing you can say at this point, and probably the only thing you can say, is that I'm ready to go again. I mean, look at the last few days. People are putting out fights left, right, and centre, and we've got some of the biggest months and busiest months ahead. So I wouldn't be surprised if that call does come calling.
Yeah, it's just a pisser.
I'm sure it is, mate. I'm sure it is. And again, just thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it. It's obviously, as I said, it's not often we get to talk to people. Some people aren't brave enough to talk about after their fight. They just sit there and wallow. But it's good you've come on today, and I really appreciate it. So,
no problem.
Cheers for your time, Rob. Yeah, cheers for your time, mate. And I'll speak to you soon.
Right, cool, nice one.